Okay, this is a new recording. Let's start with this session is about Rahu and Rahu in 8th or 12th house, and especially 8th house is today's topic. Okay. So let's start with the prayer. Yeah.
Tuklam Baradaram Vishnum Sisivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vignopasantaye Agajanana Patmartham Gajanana Maharnisam Anekadantam Bhaktanam Ekadantam Upasmahe Sri Vakratunda Mahakaya Koti Surya Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurime Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Gajananam Bhutaganadi Sevitam Kapiddam Jambu Phalasara Bhakshanam Umasutam Soka Vinasa Karanam Namah Vigneswara Pada Pankajam Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Deva Maheswaraha Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha.
Thank you. So let's start this session.
Yes, sir.
Rahu's exaltation and debilitation. Did the Maharishi speak about it?
Yes, sir.
Rahu is exalted where?
Taurus.
Taurus. Okay.
But in Santanam, he mentioned in different, sir.
In Santanam.
Santanam, sorry.
Okay.
He secretary, no, some other thing.
Okay. So first Rahu's own house is this one. And you know that house, right? It is Kumbha Rashi. Aquarius. Okay. So that is where its own house is. And right in the middle of this sign, we have a nakshatra of Rahu. What is the name of that nakshatra? Right in the middle, where I placed Rahu.
Satabhisha, sir.
Satabhisha. So that is also another additional point, right? The middle of the sign has a Rahu nakshatra. But that's not true for the Ketu. And Ketu's house is this one. Vrishika, Scorpio. Rahu is exalted here and Ketu is exalted here. Because Rahu is co-owning the house of Kumbha along with Saturn, it is Shanivad Rahu, like Shani Rahu is, and like Mars Ketu is Kujavad Ketu. They're almost like not exactly equal. How can they be equal? They're two different grahas, but the Maharishi says similarities are there. Mars and Saturn with Rahu. So then you can imagine how Rahu Shani or Saturn Rahu can be. Saturn Rahu or Saturn Rahu Saturn can be in its dasha. How difficult it might be for certain people.
Sir, this Saturn Rahu conjunction, if it is there, I read in Nadipa astrology book, Shrapit Dosh.
Yeah, Shrapit. Okay.
Yeah.
Someone says it is Pisacha yoga, something like that also.
Yeah, you can give any name you want, but basically bad. That's so it increases the problem. Hmm?
And evil's attraction, something like that they describe. That body easily attracted by the evils catch them like negative energy.
Negative energy. Okay. So Saturn Rahu signifies challenges or more of the sins from the past life. Both of them. Ketu is not exactly the same because Ketu is another type. Is more to do with after Rahu's effect has come upon you. We often wonder what to do about life and then we become spiritual. That is Ketu. It's the other side of Rahu. So that's the reason.
What about Mars and Ketu together in one house, sir?
bad depending upon where they conjoin. Okay.
Okay.
Always
So,
it is the same rules about in which house this conjunction is happening.
So Guruji, there's one question, right, to start with. So I know Saturn, Rahu, somebody mentioned Strapit Yoga, or it's very
Dosha.
bad, etc., etc.
It's not a
Can you hear
yoga.
me?
Usually, it's not a
Yeah,
yoga.
it's a dosha. It's a dosha.
Yeah.
And depending on which house it is, it'll probably affect it. But if I and I know, for example, my sister, my other people that are born between 68 or 67 to 69, all of them have it because Saturn, Rahu is together for at least a year. So how do we rationalize that other than maybe Rahu, Saturn in the 11th? How do we rationalize that?
One is how close they are. And there are 12 possibilities in every horoscope, with every conjunction. Like if you recall where Saturn and Rahu is in that period, can you tell me which Rashi it is?
It is on the just before Mesha, the Jupiter one, top left.
I think it is met in spices, sir.
Yeah, that one.
In 67.
In 68. 67 to 68, yeah.
Okay, 68. Let's say 68. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then Ketu will be here. So your question is?
Also with Ketu at that time. At that time, Jupiter also, sir, with Ketu.
Jupiter is with Ketu in that year.
Yes.
I actually have the chart, but I think for 2 or 3 people born at that exact same time, Jupiter, could either be in Leo or here. Yeah.
That's okay. Somewhere around this time, Jupiter was here also.
Yeah.
In the year 1968.
Yes.
All these conjunctions, can you mute when not talking? We can hear some noise. Okay. So all these conjunctions or even placement or exaltation, debilitation, any of those conditions, it is general for the whole world at that point in time. So obviously from that, it will not give the same result. Why? Because the ascendant changes and you get 12 different patterns. And in which house this conjunction is happening? What are the other combinations in the horoscope supporting this or adding to this problem or subtracting from the problem? All this will have a great impact on the person. So even though the conjunction is there, it may not be a tight conjunction throughout the year because Rahu is going backwards and Saturn is going forward. It will be in a state of constant change. Sometimes they'll be very far away from each other. So conjunctions won't be able to give you the same result, 1. And 2, the ascendant won't be in the same place. And the yogas present in each chart is quite different. So the sum total, it is like in a question paper, there will be, how many questions there will be normally? In a physics exam or a chemistry exam. How many questions will be there? 3 questions? 5?
12 questions will be there.
10, yeah, 10, Guruji, at least.
10 questions.
In chemistry exam.
12 to 13, that's it.
I remember in part A, that is 1 mark question itself, there were 10 when I wrote the exams. Is it so few questions, is it? I don't know. Now things have changed. I'm getting old, so I don't know.
And
so why can't they ask just 1 question? In a game, why do they play several games? Tennis, how many sets they play? 1 set? 2 sets?
3 sets, sir.
5, yeah.
3 sets, that's all. With 3 sets, they'll decide.
5 sets max, sir.
Maximum 5 sets. Can it be decided with one set? It
No.
cannot be, right? Yeah. So also in astrology, one combination will not decide everything. There will be so many other contributions from other grahas. It's very complex. On the same year, many other planets, Mars, the Sun, Mercury, Venus, they'll be all over the place. And what ascendant it is, everything will change. So it is always, for me, what is it? For an individual person, what is it? Only that will actually give you the result. If you say general things like, this I mentioned in almost most of my videos when I talk about Bhrigu Sutra. If Jupiter is in Uchasthana, it is Ucham for 1 full year. And Saturn is here for 2.5 years. Even beggars will have Saturn exalted. Beggars means typical beggars on the street. So what do you make of it? So that's the reason why there are so many planets in the horoscope. It is not by one planet. Do you understand? If it is only by one planet, it could have been very easy. No need for astrologer at all. We ourselves can read the chart.
So just that Strapit Yoga, dosha or any dosha, then
any dosha, any yoga, not enough.
Yeah.
You need to accumulate. How many can you accumulate on the plus side and the minus side? Once you accumulate on the minus side, every dosha in the chart will start showing up in that person's life. You understand? Every dosha in the chart will start showing up in a person whose horoscope is below average. If it is above average, most of the doshas won't show up at all. Why? There are combinations for experience.
Or they appear only mild, sir.
Huh?
They appear only mild. The mild effects will be there. There are.
Yeah, okay. If you want to say that, fine, no problem. Because everywhere, even if the happiest person's life, there will be problems anyway. So in the mildest way, it will be there. You're right.
Right. And also in the other person that I spoke, he also had Venus in between. So it's some deep exaltation, but still hemmed by malefics. So.
Yeah. So once you know the individual chart, it's quite different. But when you're talking about a dosha, if the dosha is supported by the overall reading in the horoscope, then the dosha can be used to explain why it is happening. So you cannot say individual doshas you cannot count at all. Individual combinations you cannot count, because that is the building block of our prediction system itself. Every little brick by brick, it is built. So you cannot say one rule. With that, we cannot say anything also. Even that is also wrong. You have to use it in the stack up. Every rule you have to stack up. How many of you understood what I said or didn't understand? If you're quiet, I think not understood only.
Understood. Sir, the horoscope should support, I think, sir, by what you are saying is to come on to get these effects.
No. If the horoscope is above average in all the yogas, overall reading, lots of houses in different houses, planetary placements, you get more and more plus. Then the negatives in the horoscope will start going down. It will not express itself. If on the other hand, the negatives are more and more, every small defect you see in the chart, every one of them will work. Okay. So that's
the horoscope is if the horoscope is above average, then the bad doshas will show up only during the
maybe in the dasha and other dasha it will show up. But even if it shows up also, the possibility of that person rebounding, surviving, overcoming the challenges would be quite easy for that person. It will be there. The problems will be there, like how we get caught in a traffic jam. Everybody gets caught in a traffic jam, but or maybe a bad road. But some of the cards are very good, so you can manage the bad terrain. So it's not just Dasha Bhukti alone, but at the same time saying don't use single rules is also wrong. Single rules also must be given preference, because it is with the single rules you build up. It's like saying, okay, let me skip all the 1 mark question or 2 mark question. I'll straight away write the 10 mark question and try to pass the exam. You'll be missing. You can't take anything lightly here. So,
sir, anyway, this Saturn Rahu period and Rahu Saturn period are critical, sir. And this, I think, there's one more point to add for this conjunction.
Okay, so it's all about where they are. So anyway, this is not about the Rahu Saturn conjunction. It is more about Rahu, especially in 8th house. Okay, so just imagine this is the ascendant. If I place Rahu here and Ketu here, how many are say, wow, beautiful, plus point, minus point? What will be your reaction to this?
Minus, sir. They are debilitated.
And then?
Minus.
The second 2-8 axis is not good for them.
Kidney problems, again, like we said last time.
Okay.
Depends on the house lords, sir. Largely depends on the house lords.
Where are they placed?
Where is Mercury, sir? It's on Mars. Any random example for where Mars is?
Mars is here. What else you want?
The benefits, the functional benefits, like 8th lord is not.
Yeah.
And Venus.
And then is Guru, if Guru, let's say, is exalted, it's looking directly at Rahu on the 8th house also. Where is Guru?
Sir, this turns out to be a good combination, sir. Irrespective of Guru, Rahu in 8th house, sudden events may happen, but it might be positive as well. Like there will be negative as well as positive events also. He might have some health issues, but at the same time, he might get some sudden assets or maybe some like insurance amount or something like that.
I think it's more negative.
A negative and a positive, negative, positive, like this. His diseases might not be identified. Even if he goes to the laboratory or something, 10 people will show 10 kind of reports. 10 doctors will say 10 different things in such cases because of Rahu in 8th.
Mars and Venus in 7th house may have many relations, and 8th lord in 7th might have a failure marriage kind of.
This is bad. More bad. 6th and 8th.
Is this a known person, sir?
No.
Randomly.
Yeah. You know, from your point of view, it is random. From my point of view, it is a real person.
Is he suffering from any hormone diseases? Hormone related?
No.
So a lot of problems in the relationship and marriage. That is clear.
Now what you
Maybe
do,
even with Venus
what you
support.
do in the chat, because now we have a new idea that when we do the video editing, whatever was given in the chat will be shown at the very end of the video. Like I've used the star titler option to roll the messages up. So each one of you type out your views because it will show up with your name that this is your view. But when you make a statement, please try to justify it with some something from classical textbooks. That this book says primarily from Brihat Parashara Hora Shastra or maybe Bhrigu Sutra, something like that. A bigger classical book like this, where maybe Varamira said this, at that range. Okay, not anybody from modern times.
Is there
Should we comment only on Rahu Ketu?
sir?
No, the question is about this person is going through Rahu Mahadasha for quite a long period, 18 years. And Rahu Dasha is still not ended. Still not
Sir,
over.
is there Sun Rahu conjunction, sir?
Sun is at 14 degrees and Rahu is at 18 degrees. So there is no conjunction.
Okay, sir.
How about the other planets, sir? Are they combusted?
Mars and Mercury, are they closely conjunct?
Shukra is combust. And so are all of them in the seventh house. Everybody is combust. Maybe if you want, Mercury alone seems to have escaped the typical combustion rule, but everybody else, that is two other grahas, Mars and Venus, are definitely combust, and Venus is closest to the sun.
And there is no conjunction between Rahu and all the planets.
No.
Sir, where is moon?
What happens when Ascendant and Moon are together? One single answer from anybody.
27th
The effects
year, he
of the
faces some
moon
kind of...
chart and the Ascendant chart are same, sir.
I know that.
If the
That's
moon
what I mean. Whatever I said, you repeated it. I'm just asking you what had happened because of that.
Very
The person
emotional,
might be
sir.
emotional, sir.
Emotional.
Emotional person. The person might be emotional.
Not a good answer because the sign is Aries, far from emotions.
Amplified. That is, they also feel whatever is going on because sometimes even if you don't have children, you don't feel bad. Maybe because moon is better. So this is like they actually, feel everything intensely.
Sir, this is
they're very aggressive. They're very aggressive in life.
This is a Paurima horoscope, fourth lord in Lagna, very much attached to the mother.
Sir, luxury through mother, sir.
Sir, according to Bhrigu Sutram, the person will be very handsome or good looking, but also will be mentally unstable.
Make quick decisions, impulsive decisions.
A person with a wavering mind.
Sir, all support from the mother, luxury through mother.
Very imaginative, very imaginative.
I'm not
the
looking.
transit results, what you are
double impact, sir, double impact.
What somebody's saying something. Last person.
Double
Lagna
impact.
same as Chandra Lagna.
The transit, sir.
So
The
double.
transit results will be.
No, somebody used the word double.
So whatever the effects they get it very strongly, sir.
Why did it take so long for you to answer that?
Because Pavani already mentioned Ascendant and Moon are same. That's why effects are same. So I thought like it is almost similar answer to what Pavani said.
Effects are double. Because from Ascendant, from the Moon. same result. So whoever has ascendant and moon together, the reading will become more and more accurate.
Sir, and the ascendant moon are near, sir, here.
Even if they're not near also, this is the same thing.
Okay, sir. If the moon goes to the second house in Bhava chart, so then also?
No, it is still not gone.
Okay.
Even otherwise also from the Rashi position itself, some yogas are formed from the moon, from the ascendant. So if somebody has the sun, moon and ascendant together, that particular sign will be, because Lagna is 100%, moon is 50%. So now it is 150%. Whatever predictions you make, everything will be turning correct. And if you have sun along with it, it is like adding another 25 marks. So it will be like 175% accuracy if sun, moon and ascendant are in the same place.
Yeah, here it is Paurnima, sir. Otherwise.
I was going to say.
Near to.
Or is it near right before an eclipse, right, Guruji?
Before
an eclipse?
Before
it's not yeah, it's just before.
Yeah. In astrology, try not to dilute discussions by saying very soon there is going to be an eclipse. It never happened, right? So why bother? But if it was between eclipses, then you have to give importance. But this is nowhere near eclipse.
Okay.
Already in a big, in a big way, astrology has a lot of ambiguity within itself as a subject. We cannot add more and more points to make it, add points to make it more ambiguous. Like saying, Jupiter is the edge of the sign. Very soon it is going to go in the own house. Or, like that. Sun is, like this or that. Generally making some statements which is going to happen. Like you just know, one of you mentioned eclipse is going to happen. All this, of what use is it? How will the dasha of Rahu be for this person? Because the person has been going through this Rahu dasha for many years.
So you had asked us to put it on the chat, Guruji.
Yeah, so all of you have typed it?
Many some have typed, not everybody, but...
Yeah. And when you make a statement, try to substantiate it as much as possible. That gives you a practice. When while we were learning chess, always it was asked, when you make a move, can you tell me the idea behind the move? Or are you simply moving it? Simply making a statement, or there is a basis for the statement? Do you understand? Again, you see, somebody had typed, the native may be suffering from windy disease, according to Bhrigu Sutram. What is the rule? Nobody knows. How this statement will be useful for anyone to learn. Okay. So the moment you make a statement, at least, even if it is wrong, also no issues. You're making an attempt. That's the best way to go forward. Nick, Rahu Mahadasha will be difficult. Rahu 8th house from Lagna and most planets 6, 8 and 12 from Rahu. Even though Jupiter does aspect many planets in the chart. You see, what a fantastic statement that is. Nick. You see that? What has he noted? He has noted from the Dasha, from the Dashanath, there are many planets in 6, 8 and 12. Except one Graha, everybody is in 6, 8 and 12. What do you think, Uma Devi?
Yes, sir.
So you should quickly spot these things, if you want to make some assessment. Very nice. Because Rahu and Ketu is in 2-8 axis and undergoing in kidney, Kala Chakra, probably health issue related to kidneys. Yeah, even if it doesn't happen, no problem. So Krishna had said that. Very nice. A nice point. You justified it. And Lord of 8th, Mars is in the 7th, Marakasthana and combust. So what? Just describing. Shall I describe this chart? Just listen to me. It is how in Kerala many astrologers read a chart. In this horoscope, Ascendant is Mesha, Moon is in Mesha, Ketu is in 2nd house, in Rishabha, Saturn is in 3rd house, Mithuna Rashi, and 5th, 7th house, Sun is in Libra, Mars is in Libra, Mercury is in Libra, 7th house, Venus is in Libra, 7th house, Rahu is in 8th house, Jupiter is in 11th house. I'm reading.
Sir, eighth position Rahu and the Lord of the 8th house is also not giving not favorable.
No, that is not the point. When you make something, you end up with a statement. You know how the astrologer should have read. You are having ascend, you are having Moon in the ascendant. Therefore, you are like that. They should read. They shouldn't read out what is there. You shouldn't read out Jupiter is looking at Sun, Mars, and Mercury and Venus, and Saturn is throwing his 3rd house aspect on the 5th house. Saturn is having aspecting the 10th house. With the 10th house aspect, which is falling on this person's 12th house. Just don't describe it. You describe it to start and then make a statement. Make a statement immediately. Okay. So except for a few statements, I mean, most of the, I didn't have time enough to, go through all of them. Before that, some other question pertaining to the prayer. Is it Bhakshitam or Bhakshanam? I think it is swappable. I think the words you could use both. Mars and Venus combination in 7th may have many relations. Okay, not bad. At least something was made, an attempt was made, because Mars and Venus is, heats up the hormones, and therefore many relations. Okay. Sorry. Many relationship. 6th Lord in the 7th. 8th Lord in the 7th, 5th Lord debilitated. All indicative of children and marriage. That's all. No statement. What?
No, I meant problems in children and marriage, maybe. And then further down, I'd also said that.
Okay. So you can retype it because this is going to be put up, Okay. Fear of marriage. Again, a simple statement has been made, but what is the
because of so sorry, it's me.
It's again. Okay. It's okay. As per Nadi, Moon in Lagna, 27th year you will suffer from illness. Okay. And I did not quote which Nadi book says that. Okay. The native will be suffering from windy disease. Again, we do not know what was the windy disease. What was the planet causing it? Support from mother throughout. Again, no reasons and so on. So don't bother them, but whatever I told is just to, wake you up instead of just discussing horoscopes casually. Let's get serious with it. You make a statement, something must be there. What's the best way to be very sure about the statement where, nobody can question you? Can anybody come up with an idea? If you make a statement, even I cannot question you. How do you do that?
Quote the text, sir.
That's all. After that, I'll also keep my mouth shut. The whole world will keep its mouth shut. Even if it goes wrong, nobody cares. Because at least we'll say Maharishi Parashar only said, I'm not responsible. Got it? That is the advantage of quoting a book. And mostly the book is correct. Most of the time. Than not. So that is a very important point. Whereas if we make statements, this, that, maybe this, maybe that, maybe most of the time we are wrong. And sometimes we are right also. Okay. So let's start all over again. What may have been the focus of the problem for this person? In Rahu Mahadasha is one. Rahu Mahadasha is one. Another point is Overall, what could have been the problem? Just, ignore only Rahu Mahadasha, but Rahu Mahadasha.
7th house affliction, sir.
Again, see, you're not completing it.
Problems with business.
Okay, very good. You say 7th house affliction. No, 7th house affliction. Therefore, I feel this person is having trouble in business. Okay, good. At least one statement. Clear. Because 7th house is house of business, and many planets are there in the 7th, and then there is an 8th lord there and a 6th lord there. And okay, some statement. Yeah.
Because you're saying it's Rahu Dasa, Rahu is indicator of fear and illusion, and he's got business running. I feel that he's fearing death or fearing a lot of fears in his mind that is not and running behind illusion.
Sir, male or female, sir?
Sir, 8th, Rahu in the 8th is the second from 7th house. So maybe this native has some issues with the in-laws.
With the in-laws, okay.
So during Rahu Dasha, there was probably problems with the health, sir. Mainly focus was mainly health.
See, first thing, don't bother about what other people think of you. You make any statement, make a statement, reason it out, type it out. Okay, so even if you're not talking also, you can use the chat. And in between, somebody asks, what is the gender of this person? How important that question is. Nobody asked.
And the age of the person. Age.
Very good question. These are all good questions. Around 50.
So the person may start his life in Sun, Moon, or Mars Dasha, sir. We don't know the degree of Moon.
No, when I made the answer for that question, you interrupted. So, sorry. What is the age of this person?
You said 50 years, sir.
No, but Sridevi doesn't know. Okay.
Not Sridevi, sir. Pavani.
Oh, Pavani. Oh, Pavani doesn't know.
No, I don't know, sir.
Yeah. But I actually mentioned
male or female, sir?
I mentioned it. It's a female.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay.
The reason is, while I'm talking, if you also talk parallel, many people will not listen. Okay.
Okay, sir. Sorry.
So this is, does it make a big difference if it is a female chart or a male chart? Your approach will change?
Yes.
For 8th house, we give more importance for female regarding the marriage and all this.
8th house, you will give importance to marriage if it is a female chart, right?
Yeah.
Why? Because it is called Mangalya Sthana. The longevity of marriage, the lengthening of marriage, the lifespan of marriage is 8th house.
So Guruji, how is that different for a male chart?
In male, we don't consider the 8th as a Mangalya Sthana. For some reason, it's like that.
Okay.
I think it's a lot to do with maybe uterus and...
Sir, is she suffering from PCOD or something? Hormone-related issues? Very likely, sir.
Can you, as soon as you make a statement, can you substantiate with some astrology rules?
Yes, sir. Because Venus is the Jiva Kala, Jupiter is the Jiva, and how the Jiva functions, basically the hormone is Venus, and Mars relates to blood. So Venus and Mars, that too in Tula Rashi, which is again Kala Purusha 7th place. My guess is that she might suffer from some kind of PCOD or periods related problems, which is hormone related again, periods.
Sir, is it like children issue? She is because the 5th lord sun is in seventh house, Libra house, and it is debilitated. The sun is debilitated, so she is not does not have a child or something like.
What do you think? No child or yes, one child, two children? See, the
No
point is
children.
we are only studying, right? Even if you make a mistake, who's going to really bother? You're not reading a client's chart, right? And you're not taking any payment so that you're scared whether if you make a mistake. So you can make a statement and say, yeah, you can say, I think she doesn't have a child. Even if it is wrong, you will still be credited the point because you dare to, use an astrology principle to make a statement.
Sir, I feel sun is.
Sir, Guruji,
Children, it cannot be. No, wait a minute. Let us give her a chance to complete the statement now that I had given some fresh inputs to her. It was
Sir,
Rupali, I think, right? Was it Rupali who was speaking? I didn't notice.
Sir, Aarti.
Was Aarti speaking about 7th in the 5th and...
Yes, sir.
Okay.
The 5th in the 7th, the sun and debilitated sun in Libra.
Okay.
So, sir, I think she might have a child, or she might have lost her child, or does not have a children. Something like that. Not sure about this, but something related to the child. Maybe she has a
okay,
child.
if you run out of ideas, Aarti, what you can say is that you can simply make a blanket statement like she's maybe a lot of putra dosha.
Okay, sir.
Guruji, can I counter that statement, Guruji? Like by the fact
you
that
you can because I have not agreed upon whether she is having children or not.
Yeah, the aspect of Jupiter on the 5th house itself is a blessing for the 5th house, and so if there is any dosha regarding the 5th house, Jupiter's aspect would be having a say on it.
And there is also Saturn aspect.
Saturn aspect also on the 5th house. Saturn's third aspect.
So which one will be more stronger?
Sir, before considering this, there is one major point here, sir. Though sun is debilitated, it has Nicha Bhanga Raja Yoga because the owner of that house, Venus, is there and he is in Kendra from moon.
Okay.
So the debilitation of the sun gets cancelled. It becomes Nicha Bhanga Raja Yoga.
But Venus is combusted.
No, whether it, but the condition says Tad Rashinathopi Sachandra Lagnat Yadi Kendravarti. So it is that condition is fulfilled. So sun in Nicha Bhanga Raja Yoga might give some problem because from fifth house Rahu is in 4th. So Putra Sukha, there might be some kind of issues, but childlessness will be a big statement. That might not be true. In Rahu, there might be some issues related to child, but not childlessness or death of a child.
Only the Putra Karaka is nicely placed, I think. The one point.
If you consider 6th Lord in 7th and 8th Lord in 7th, issue with the relations and all, I think she might not have children at all. If you consider that also.
What is the logic?
In the 2nd house also.
What is the logic?
8th Lord in 7th, 12th from 8th and 6th Lord in 7th. So.
Why you are talking about children and 7th house? Is not children 5th house matter?
Marriage issue. So if there is no marriage, then might not be children.
Oh, okay. Are you suggesting that this person is not even married?
Or death of spouse?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
The 5th Lord in 7th, it's love marriage and Jupiter's aspect on it, sir. So the elders in the family would have definitely agreed, sir.
But it is a love marriage also. It is a love marriage, but then it became arranged because of Jupiter's aspect. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sir, does Rahu getting the aspect of Jupiter also, sir? Just a small question.
Rahu getting the aspect of?
Does Rahu here, the debilitated Rahu getting the aspect of Jupiter or not, sir? Just to confirm.
It's very weak.
Okay. Sir.
Yeah. How would
Sir,
you
we missed
read
a
out?
point here.
How do you read out the dasha result for this person? What methodology will you use? What method will you use?
Look at the house lordship and then the placement first, sir, to begin to start with.
Okay. Do we have to actually do it from our own mind? Do we have to kind of create the predictions, or is something else already written? What do you think?
It is written, sir.
It's already written in the text, the old text. Sir.
Where?
Dasha Antardasha results, sir.
Dasha Antardasha results and also planet placement results.
Okay. So can't we read straight away from that and say, I mean, this must be the result in Rahu Mahadasha? Can't we say that?
But there's a cluster of planets, so maybe the effects will change.
With Rahu, is it? What cluster is there with Rahu?
No, because there's a cluster. So every time Rahu, Sun, even Mars, and
No. I'm talking about the overall dasha. Okay. In Brihat Parashara Horashastra, do we have a separate set of instructions and predictions given for just the dasha alone without the antardasha?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Then it will be a cakewalk for us to simply read it out, right? Rather than trying to guess.
Rahu, natal, and 12 is bad during this period.
Yeah, simply read out the result, what Maharshi says for Rahu in the 8th. Because we know it is in the 8th. Okay, so you have to just read out that particular portion, which is addressing to 8th house placement of Rahu. Then simply read it out. And say, I don't know about it, but Maharshi said that, so I'm following that.
So longevity, sir.
See, again and again, you're refusing to read from the book. I mean, actually, maybe sometimes you may think, I'm smarter than Maharshi Parashara, so there's no need to refer.
No, yes, sir.
So overall, it's indicating negative results, sir. Overall, during the dasha, negative results are indicated.
Yeah, simply read it out. That's what I want to.
If Rahu be in the 8th or 12th, there will be during his dasha all kinds of troubles and distress. If Rahu be associated with a malefic or Maraka planet, or be in a sign of debilitation, Scorpio, there will be loss of position, destruction of residential house, mental agony, trouble to wife and children, and misfortune by getting bad food. There will be loss of wealth at the commencement.
Yeah, tell me.
There will be loss of wealth at the commencement of the dasha, some relief and gain in wealth during in his own country, and distress and anxieties during the last portion of the dasha.
Correct. So we read that, right? So why should we break our head on it? Simply read it out. Because here it is also in debilitation. And for this ascendant, Aries, Rahu is double bad. You know why?
11th Lord, sir.
11th Lord, sir.
Because of 11th Lordship, it is equal to Saturn, and whatever Maharshi said about Saturn will apply to Rahu also. Correct? They co-rule the same house. So for a Mesha Lagna person, Rahu must be extremely bad because it is 11th Lord.
Sir, but one doubt, sir. According to placement of house lords, 11th Lord in 8th, it says a person will be long-lived. So how to answer that contradiction, sir?
You have to live long, no, to suffer. If you die, you don't suffer.
Okay.
Got it?
Yes, sir.
Long life has nothing to do with suffering. There are two different points. So at least we know nothing good has been stated, right? During this period. So debilitation Rasi also is given. That question is being raised. Okay. So where did he read from?
BPHS. Volume 2, sir.
Volume 2. Mental agony, destruction of residential home. What does that mean, destruction of residential house? Somebody coming and blasting the house?
Failure of marriage.
Failure of?
Marriage. Marriage life.
The meaning of the house gone. Okay. What is bad food?
Food poisoning.
Food poisoning only? Okay.
Alcohol.
Alcohol, okay. When you are deep in trouble, will you like the taste of food?
No.
You will feel food is also bad. You won't be in a good mood to eat good food. So this is how you start reading. Okay, then you can go to the Dasha and Antardasha. Then whatever Nick pointed out that, what to do for this person. From Rahu, Moon is in 6th house, Saturn is in the 8th house, Sun is in the 12th, Mars in the 12th, Venus in the 12th, Mercury in the 12th, except Guru, everybody else in bad space, bad spots. Now, which Dasha and Antardasha can I give good reading? Because Dashanath will become like ascendant in the reading. Okay. Are you all aware that you have to read from Dashanath as a pointer, as a lagna, as a temporary lagna while you read a chart?
Yes, sir.
During its Dasha, that Dashanath will become like a ascendant, like an ascendant. So if this becomes the ascendant, where I'm, this particular place becomes the ascendant. This one becomes the ascendant instead of the top one. Now, how will you read it?
Kendra.
So many planets in 12th house. So what happened to all our Nicha Bhanga Raja Yoga, everything? No Nicha Bhanga Raja Yoga exists in Dushtana. So in Rahu, all this Nicha Bhanga won't work. And one more thing, Nicha Bhanga has to be used very, very carefully, all these rules. Because there are some more tests to be done if you want to know really if a planet is strong. In Shadbala, Saturn, Sun became weak. It has gone into minus marks. So the debilitation is true, the real debilitation. So, okay, the question is, does this person, is the person married? Or can you guess whether marriage has happened? Or if you say marriage must have happened, then what was the logic that you had used that marriage must happen?
It must have happened, sir, like to go through the whatever the karma that is related to 7th house of affliction. But it is a troubled marriage and lots of challenges.
Jupiter aspects the 7th and 7th lord.
Previous Mahadashas.
Okay, one important point. If Jupiter aspects a house or aspects a set of, whatever conditions we are talking about, planets, do we take it as no problem at all, or problems will be there, but then somehow the person will manage it? Or will you take it like that, or will you say no problem at all?
The second statement is correct, sir.
Problem will be there, but he will get some kind of guidance to solve the problems.
Problem will be there, but it will be not as severe as without the aspect of Jupiter.
And depends on the strength of Jupiter, sir, in Shadbala.
That native will get a mentor through which he will be able to solve his problems.
Does the aspect of Jupiter depend on the Shadbala, Guruji?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. But
likewise, even the functional and functional malefic and benefic also will not have a say in aspects, right, Guruji?
No, it won't. It won't.
Sir,
the point is, can we make a statement that if Guru aspects a particular problem, the problem itself doesn't exist, or the problems will be there, but then there will be solutions also?
The other later statement is correct.
Second statement.
The second statement. Guruji. The second statement for sure, because we had a chart where everything was bad. The only saving grace was the Jupiter's aspect on the Lagna.
Okay.
So whatever the problems were indicated were there, but the Jataka did not suffer. As for example, a chronic illness at the time of birth, but still she was well taken care of because of that one saving grace of Jupiter.
Okay.
Guruji, problems may be decreased, sir, as per natural's rule. Every problem has its own solution. Even both Jupiter aspect or not, problem may be decreased in the aspect of the Jupiter.
Sir, in this case, Jupiter's 9th aspect on the 7th house. So maybe some person will intervene, and if there is a problem in marriage, it might come to some conclusion will be there, sir. Hello, sir.
Yes, I'm listening. I don't know what to say. Can I say that I am the mentor for this person? I'm the one who's guiding her.
Oh, thank you, sir.
So previously she has gone through dashas of the ones in 7th house before Rahu. So that 7th house would have activated in that period. So it's not a denial of marriage for sure. It is married one.
And what is the basis for that statement you said? Because of Mars Dasha.
No, previously before Rahu Dasha.
Yeah, before Rahu is Mars.
Mars. So during the age of marriage, might be she was at the start of Mars Dasha, sir,
or even Moon Dasha also.
Moon Dasha also it's expecting. So the timing for marriage is there.
Okay.
So that marriage would have been.
I will tell you. I'll give you an idea, a trick. Lagna Lord is I. Who is I in this chart? Mars. Who is my husband?
Venus. Sir.
Venus.
Relative.
7th Lord. We are both together where?
7th
house.
Then how can I avoid marriage? Like this, you can, guess. Me and my spouse are united in marriage, in the house of marriage. How can it be marriage?
You already said it is a love marriage, sir.
I didn't say anything at all. Only you said.
So you confirmed it, sir, I think.
No, he didn't confirm it.
I didn't confirm.
Oh, sorry, sir.
Okay. It's okay. I mean, you attempt anything. Because, see, the statement you made for why you said love marriage, 5th Lord in the 7th, that statement is valid.
Mars and Venus conjunction, sir. Also.
Or Mars and Venus conjunction. Or no, specifically 7th Lord in the 5th or 5th Lord in the 7th is, even according to B.V. Raman, he kept on repeating it in every article, that it is one of the things of love marriage. Okay.
Sir, another one, I am not 100% sure about this, but might be legal issues also, because Mars, Sun and Mercury kind of creates some kind of legal, not really problematic, but might end up in something legal. Related to marriage.
There is no problem. There is nothing legal. Okay.
Sir, the Sun-Venus combination in the 7th house, is it some ego issues between the couple, sir?
Ego issues.
Between the couple?
What is the basis for the statement? Reason?
That I do.
Because you want to say Sun is a ego planet.
Sun is debilitated also, sir. And Venus is in its own house. And both the planets in the 7th.
Suppose you move the ascendant to the opposite side and act as though that is the husband's ascendant. This is a trick in astrology. if you move the ascendant to the opposite side and make an attempt to read. Okay. This ascendant, if you bring it here, this will become temporary ascendant from wife's point of view, the husband's ascendant. If the ascendant is here, what can you say about this person?
Husband has a short temper.
Short temper. Okay.
Sir, sun in seventh house itself is a problem, sir. Like, you know, ego problems with the other spouse.
Aversion to other sex, opposite sex.
Yeah.
Is this person divorced?
I sense a problem in marriage because of the presence of Mars, who is more of a warrior and one who doesn't let go of his ideas or compromise. So there may be a clash because of the marriage, because of his presence in the seventh house, along with the issue that was mentioned earlier about the sun.
Sixth Lord and
so where is Upapada Lagna, sir?
Divorce.
Upapada Lagna you can calculate, no? Where is Upapada Lagna? UL.
Shiga.
It is in?
Scorpio.
How did you put it in Scorpio?
No, sir, it is in Capricorn.
It is in Capricorn. What happened, Deepa?
Okay.
You have to touch the 12th house. You have to touch the 12th house.
Okay.
Touch the 12th house. The Lord is 1 minus that. 1 minus that is UL. Okay.
So second from Upapada Lagna is Jupiter, sir. So may not be like divorced.
Okay.
Husband may die, sir.
The person is not divorced.
First Lord in the seventh, husband may die, sir.
The husband is not dead. Is there Mangal dosha here?
Eighth Lord in seventh and sixth Lord in seventh is a real issue, sir.
Is there a Mangal dosha here? Is it cancelled?
Mangal dosha cancelled, sir.
It got cancelled because of Jupiter's aspect, sir.
So becoming a widow is not possible, right?
But separation is here is indicated, sir, because of eighth Lord in seventh and sixth Lord in seventh.
What about Lagna Lord and seventh Lord being together in seventh?
Seventh Lord is afflicted, sir, and there is a moon from seventh Lord, which is not good for,
Okay, now I'll tell you, the person is not divorced. Okay. Does the person have a child or not?
Sir, they are
Yes,
living
sir.
together, right, sir? What you were indicating?
They're living together only.
Okay.
And they are not living together also.
So no intimacy, basically.
When does that happen? Whenever the seventh Lord is in the fifth or fifth Lord in the seventh, especially if it is debilitated as further problems, it becomes very strong. Okay. What is Rahu's effect in the 8th house? Separately. What is
Sir,
Rahu?
longevity is issue, sir.
What does Rahu usually mean?
Maya,
Inflated ego.
Obsession.
Some
Obsession.
break or confusion.
Confusion.
Rebellious.
Okay. Fear.
Hidden disease.
Fear. Think about snake. When you see a snake, what emotions come? Very comfortable.
Very sly,
fear, sir.
sudden attack.
Fear.
Fear of what? What fear she is having?
Fear of death.
Fear of death.
Fear of diseases.
Fear of disease. Okay.
Fear of losing.
Fear of pain.
Does she have a happy marriage?
No.
Why?
Definitely not, sir, because of the afflictions and too many malefics. I mean, sun and debilitated sun and combusted Mars.
Sir, even Ketu in the Kutumbasthana, sir, it is not.
In unhappy marriage, which lord in which house is the most troublesome combination?
Mars and sun, sir.
8th lord and 7th, sir.
6th
Or
and
6th
8th.
lord, 6th lord and 7th.
7 and 6.
6 and 7.
6 and 7. Why 6 and 7?
Because 6th is 12th from 7 and loss of marriage. It means loss of marriage.
Okay. So for all the possibilities, 6 and 7 connection is the worst of all. Okay. I've written a small blog on this. Troubled marriage.
It's Kalatra dosha, sir.
It is Kalatra dosha. In this context, Venus in the 7th is a problem. Only in this context. Otherwise, you should say it is in its own sign. Okay, therefore, it is not a Karako Bhavanashya. But in the context, it is bad because the Sun and Venus are just 2 degrees apart. It could have been even a planetary war if it was 1 degree. But it is not one, it's more than 1 degree. So it is still 2 degrees. So the Sun, the Venus is severely afflicted. So when Venus is afflicted in the 7th, it could be a Karako Bhavanashya also. It is like saying, I wish Venus was not here. It could have escaped the Sun's wrath. Okay. The gap between Mercury and Mars is only 6 degrees. What is the problem with Mercury and Mars? You can see the color itself, green and red, always fighting.
Great enemies.
Great
Good enemies.
And they're 6th and 8th lord. It is not good.
They are
for
6 and 8. 6 and 8 conjunction in the 7th. You cannot have a more 7th house afflicted horoscope, right? If you divorce, you escape. So you won't divorce also. You will continue to live.
Verbal fighting, sir. More of verbal fighting, sir. More verbally fighting with each other, sir. Not physical fighting.
Only verbal fight. Okay.
This Mars and Mercury, the fight will be through Mercury communication. Through communication.
Through communications. Okay. Because Mercury is communication, and therefore, okay.
The Mars influence on Mercury.
So once you finish making some statements, please type it out. Let's have a lot of chat. And people who have missed the session, they can learn a lot from whatever you have typed. Okay.
Sir, the statement by Sage Bhrigu for Rahu in 8th house, sir, the bilious diseases and windy diseases. Did this person have any disease like that, sir?
No, doesn't have, but there was something else which happened. Anyway, I'll come to that. So
Do they have more than one, I mean, relationship or?
let's ignore that. How many children does she have? Possibility of children or childlessness, which is most probably the truth, whatever has happened.
It will be definitely there, sir, and the problems will be there.
Children
There will be
there,
a child. There will be a child.
Yes, one or no child.
One or no child.
Yes, because Putra dosha is there, but Jupiter's aspect in 5th house.
What is the Putra dosha?
So here the 5th house owner sun is debilitated, right? So
5th house lord, 5th house lord of children is debilitated, and it has afflicted the 7th lord badly. What is 7th house actually? Is house of reproduction. It is not house of marriage. It is actually house of reproduction. And because reproduction for a civilized world is happening through marriage, we have termed it as marriage house. It's actually physical union. So the physical union got afflicted by the 5th lord. So it affects both. That is the problem with 5th and 7th and 7th and 5th. It afflicts, but this is a very special case where sun is debilitated and added problem to the entire issue. And debilitation is not the only point. It became weak in Shadbala. So when we use Nichabanga Raja Yoga concept, it is very important we keep an eye on the Shadbala of the Graha for which we are supporting the Nichabanga. Otherwise, Nichabanga might exist only in theory. It will not be in practice. It will not be practical. You will not. You'll see most of the time it doesn't work. The Nichabanga Raja Yoga. Okay.
So Rahu in the 8th house, like maybe what is the reason behind this life? Something like that they will think, sir.
Pardon me?
Sir, Rahu in the 8th house, suppose a native will think like, what is the reason behind this life? Something like that, like something occult and all, like something like that, sir. Also.
Yeah, obviously, when trouble is so much, will they not wonder what's happening to me? Why is it all happening? I mean, such a lot of problems.
Sir, one.
8th house Rahu.
Yeah.
So just one statement. This also is a guess actually, sir. Because Vrishchika is Jala Tattva. Vrishchika represents well, basically, which is like deep inside. And she is undergoing Rahu Dasha. Rahu is in 8th. Did she ever think of jumping into the well?
No, she lives in a city where there are no wells.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, it's okay. I mean, he made an attempt.
So Guruji, when you place the ascendant in the 7th house and analyze the spouse, Mars and Venus together, doesn't that represent sexual energy gone a little bit aggressive?
Yes, that's the main problem. That's the main problem for the husband.
Okay.
Okay. And because of that, he has another person and he has married that person.
Okay.
And he's living here and there. For physical union there and for happiness here. You understand? Normally, what will ladies do if such a thing happens? They'll quit, right?
Yes.
The quitting doesn't happen because of Jupiter aspecting the entire set. But don't ever think if Jupiter aspects, the problem will vanish. Unless stated. It all means that there is still some hope left in it. Okay.
Sir, the other one is not marriage, right, sir? It is not legal.
It is.
Oh, Muslim couple.
Muslim.
Christianity.
I mean, let's not bring religion here. Okay.
Sir, can we say here after Mars, Rahu
Now-
Dasha?
Now children, after Rahu comes Jupiter, the Mahadasha. Okay.
No, after Mars, Rahu comes, sir. But Rahu is in Mars sign because in that case, the Rahu can act as Mars, sir. Both men. Totally, the Mars is dominating it from Mars Dasha itself, maybe. Can we say?
Okay. From Mars is on acting, and even the discontinuous thing is not there in Rahu. Also, it is there because Rahu's disposition is Mars, and therefore it's still connected to the 7th house.
The 7th
Jupiter-
house issues are continuing, right?
Issues are there, but no divorce is happening. Okay.
So can we say, in addition to the Jupiter aspect, they are staying together because fifth lord is also in 7th house, so because of children they are staying together?
Not necessarily 7th and 5th, 5th and 7th. They'll also have some love for the spouse because love and spouse got connected.
Okay.
Okay. Only thing about this combination is in matters of physical union alone, there will be a dissatisfaction. Only another person will keep them happy. That is husband. So the husband will not be happy. So the husband will say, I mean, you be here, but I have somebody else for that. Okay. This
But it's
happens.
also necessary for this native, right, Guruji?
Yeah.
Because they will not get anything from anywhere else, right?
Hmm.
The physical part, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
So about children, there is a child. So what happened to all our conclusions about fifth house heavily damaged?
Jupiter is aspecting, sir.
But will you not give any importance to the affliction in the first place?
Maybe we have to see D7, sir.
Sir, fifth lord is not in 6, 8 or 12, it's in 7th Kendra house.
Okay, I'll do the D7 for you. D7 is what? It's called Saptamsa.
Saptamsa.
Ascendant is here. Rahu is here. Obviously, Ketu will be the opposite. But in some divisional charts, they'll be together. But in this divisional chart, it is always opposite. Where can I place the fifth lord? But the thing is, the Jupiter came back to the ascendant.
And where is Venus, sir?
I was waiting for somebody to ask.
Where is Sun, sir?
Not relevant. Whatever I place is relevant. In D7, it's always Lagna Lord. That's why one of the students asked, where is Venus? Fifth house place planets. Lord of the fifth, enough to give a reading. Lagna Lord, fifth house planets, and then of course ninth house, any malefic. Okay.
It is afflicted, sir.
Sir, some disease is there? The child has some disease, some chronic disease?
Disease what? The child has a disease, or I mean, this is the horoscope of the mother. Okay, so you want to say the child herself has a problem because of this combination.
Yeah, the child has some...
Usually you can make an attempt like that, but sometimes it may not be true because you're reading this person's chart. So most probably it will be this person's experience. Sometimes if there are too many afflictions, even the child will have afflictions, but that need not be true. It is only from their point of view, childbirth and so on. So
Parivartana is considered, sir, in divisional.
Parivartana? No. Okay, if it is Parivartana, what happens? What is the Parivartana here? Venus and Jupiter.
Yes, sir.
Even then it is not a good Parivartana, right? Even if you argue on that. It is only 8th and 1st Parivartana. It's bad. Oh, that's okay. We need not bring all that. Only Jupiter in Lagna. And no malefics on the 9th. There is a malefic in the 9th. Sun here. So she's fulfilled all the conditions in D7 chart for problem in childbirth. So then how did the child arrive?
So only Jupiter is there in the Lagna, sir.
Also depends upon her husband, sir.
There in the D1 also, the Jupiter is helping there, sir, and here also Jupiter is helping. That's the only plus.
That's a beautiful point, right? Jupiter is somehow got into the Lagna and said D7 chart. So the child was with the help of a doctor. Treatment. So there were several complicated abortions. So the person gave up and then had to go through a doctor. And finally, if not for today's medical advancement, the same horoscope 100 years back, no children at all, for sure. So that proves that science can also change karma.
Sir, if it is doctor, it is definitely like IVF or something like that only, sir.
Yeah. It was through that method. But then was the child healthy? No. Very unhealthy when born, almost cat on the wall every day. Today, tomorrow, the child will pass away. No point having this child, and so on. So that people are right when you said problematic. Somebody mentioned, I think Soumya or somebody. I didn't notice the name.
Sir, when
unhealthy
analyzing any divisional chart, sir, you mentioned in this case, sun is not relevant in this particular.
Sun is relevant only because it came into the 9th house. Otherwise, we need not look at it because it's only Lagna Lord, 5th house, and that's all. Always.
But sun is 5th Lord and D1, no, sir. We don't have to consider.
No. We need not consider like that. We don't drag planets like that into a divisional chart. We only read a divisional chart as it is. Simply only Lagna. And here, as somebody pointed out, somehow Lagna, Jupiter somehow got into it, which made it possible for the doctor to help her produce a child through some scientific methods. Okay. Maybe in those days, there must have been something like this. Yogi's blessing, even they say Kauravas, 101 or 100 Kauravas. All this is due to some other manipulations. Even the Pandavas were born out of some manipulation. Even Jesus Christ was born without any, union and so on. So there is something going on. So we need not think 100 years back it would have been impossible. Some yogi would have blessed, and still the person might have had a child. It is not just the IVF alone, but usually some intervention can come, some help can come. So it's not about the doctor alone; it is some help. Maybe those days some other medicine would have been used. Some ideas could have been used. Okay.
Sir, does this
what is the gender of the child, sir?
The gender of the child. I would like to keep it confidential.
Sir, I have one doubt, sir. Does this native had any problems with in-laws, sir?
No.
Okay.
Oh no, I think you are saying because Lagna Lord is in the 7th, right? If Lagna Lord is in the 7th, in-laws problems, typical in-laws problems.
I thought of Rahu in the 8th, sir.
Rahu in the 8th, right? Yeah, that's what I thought.
Rahu in the 8th is always in-laws problem, is it? Well, who said that?
No, sir, second Lord from the 7th. That is what they are telling.
No. We are saying doesn't count here at all.
Okay. This first Lord in the 7th, at least we know, sir, because of this point.
Yeah. First Lord in the 7th, some other book, some classical book has mentioned in-laws problem. Okay. Not Parashari text.
Okay.
Sir, Jupiter and Venus, Jupiter aspecting Venus here, and even in D7, Venus in Jupiter's house and Jupiter in Venus' house. Normally, such combinations also indicate that there is a blessing of a goddess which is related to in their house, like Kula Devi or something, which actually acts as a blessing for them to overcome. It's a female goddess, basically.
But what if this is a Muslim horoscope?
Something.
Yeah, no problem. You can make an attempt.
Because Venus and Jupiter combination, it is like a sure shot God blessing, basically.
Okay. Not only God, doctor's blessings, astrologer's blessings, teacher blessing, somebody will guide them.
And also Venus, that Lagna Lord in D7 is in Kalapurusha's 9th house, which is a Bhagyasthana. It's a good house for Venus to be, actually, even though it is 8th, but...
Yeah. But suppose you are you or I is the lady, and half the time this person is with somebody else and has a child there. How will your life be in Rahu Mahadasha? Very happy?
No.
Misery, Guruji, misery.
More of an imaginative problem.
You're saying it is imagination, it's not real.
If she thinks that, oh, let it be, I am happy here, then it's fine, all solved. But she won't think like that.
Not imaginative, not at all.
No, the thing is, mental instability will be there, I think, because of
Rahu creates that. Had Rahu not been there, then she might have thought like that. Let them be happy. I will also be happy here. What is to do with that? Fine, you be fine. I will be fine.
There are people
But
who are
mental instability will be there, sir, because of Rahu, maybe.
Rahu doesn't allow her to be peaceful. That is what I meant to say.
Yeah.
Guruji, I had one quick question. Does Ketu in the 8th have the same? Does it have in-laws problem or no?
I
had it
don't know
been
of
Ketu?
any rule which says that Rahu and Ketu in 2/8 is in-laws problem.
Okay, okay.
I have never used it at all in my, in my readings. I have never used that rule. Only Lagna Lord in the 7th is one of the reasons for in-laws problem.
Okay, okay.
Sir, and if Ketu is in the 8th, sir, in this case, the same effect will be there, sir.
No, Ketu sector.
Here the peculiar situation is Rahu has become number 1 malefic along with Saturn. And Saturn, but 5th house, 5th house is aspected by Saturn is also a problem, which made her go through so many, not ordinary abortions, very complicated ones, very complicated. Okay. And because of that Saturn aspecting that house, and then 5th lord becoming weak, and 5th lord combusting the 7th lord and so on, then Rahu Ketu in 2/8. Actually, 2/8 axis itself is a pressure on marriage because 2nd house is Kudumbasthana. Okay.
Guruji.
Yes.
I've seen functional malefic in the 10th causing problems with mother-in-law.
Functional malefic in the 10th. Yeah, but when you make a statement like that, you need to collect so many horoscopes and prove the point, because unless Rishi has mentioned that, we cannot make it as a rule, because people might start using it for other charts and it may not work.
Yeah, yes, Guruji. I think we need to use our intuition there. So for a Mithuna Lagna, I was reading this person's chart. Mars is the functional malefic. It was placed in the 10th, and 10th is 4th from the 7th. So the mother of the husband is 10th house. And with that logic, I was going to ask that person, do you have problems with mother-in-law? And she says, when will my mother-in-law die?
Okay. And the more they think like that, the mother-in-law will never die.
Exactly.
Yeah. They will live long.
But these days, most of the people keep on complaining about mother-in-law and father-in-law and things like that. It has become a general fashion. So we cannot go by that, this one at all, by what people say all the time. In fact, when people want to marry, they'll ask whether Rahu or Ketu is there or not, which means mother and father are there or not. That's how the generation has changed.
I see.
Guruji, I have a question. When you asked us to look at the Lagna reversed or placed in the opposite sign for the husband's chart, can we assume that for the sake of marriage, we can take Venus as the Lagna and consider the Rahu as the 2nd house from the marriage? Where it denotes that Rahu is going to be causing malefic influence on the marriage itself, and the 2nd house lord being placed along with, of course, Venus and getting combusted. So there seems to be a problem in multiple angles when we approach it, with our reasoning. We are seeing a lot of pressure on the post-marriage relationships and post-marriage happiness.
And the husband's horoscope has all the combinations for a 2nd marriage, very strong combinations for 2nd marriage. So it had to happen. And
could it be that even Rahu, being that the house of, the sense of expansion, makes the husband go expand his empire? Probably. Sorry to say that. Having an illusion that he needs to create a bigger family.
No, that is stretching things too far.
Yeah, I was going a bit too far. Sorry. So we can take Venus as the reference point for marriage, and from there we can consider using the same Lagna theory.
Yeah. You have to use Tula Lagna as the ascendant, temporary ascendant for the husband, and then read it.
Okay. No, do we take the 7th house, or do we take the 7th house Lord placement as the Lagna, Guruji?
7th Lord place.
No. The 7th house. Simply touch where the 7th house is and try to read it.
Okay.
Of course, like Deepa mentioned, some people use where is the 7th Lord and then try to use that as the ascendant.
Yeah, that is why I was confused.
No. It's basically 7th house itself.
Okay.
Guruji, for female chart, husband is denoted as Mars or Jupiter?
For female.
Jupiter, sir.
Usually Jupiter for female.
Okay.
Because it is like a teacher, like a guru, like a god. The husband must be, it is taken from that logic. It's not true, because always for husband, for both male and female, only 7th Lord becomes the indicator of marriage. It's not about any particular planet significator. Significator, we have some different, variations, even amongst classical textbooks. So Venus is generally the Karaka for marriage. Kalatar Karaka all the time. But in this case, it has become her 7th Lord as well. Okay. So, just try to highlight Rahu. Rahu, from Samudra Manthan story, three major words that you can say about Rahu.
Greedy, sir.
Greedy. So the husband is greedy. He wants one more. Okay.
Disguise, sir.
Disguise, hiding. So he hid the whole thing. Only after a child was born, it was known. Until then, he was hiding it. Where is the hiding part in the Samudra Manthan story?
He'll go into
He dresses himself as a god,
Deva.
sir, as Devata.
As a Deva. He will go and hide him. He will deceive the gods and make it look like his god. So who exposes? The sun and the
Sun and moon.
Sun and the moon, right?
My question is, why did it not happen in Mars Dasha, the previous Dasha, only in Rahu Dasha?
There's the weakest Dasha for her. Always bad things happen in the weakest Dasha. It waits for the weakest.
Because Mars is again the 8th Lord, right? So I thought maybe this should have come up in the Mars Dasha as well.
It started maybe in the Mars Dasha, and
his entire matter is about hiding, cheating, and all that. So which graha goes perfectly with these words?
Rahu.
Yeah.
So it is waiting for Rahu.
Sir, is it also
if Rahu is here not? Sorry, sir.
Now, once you have one more wife, your husband has one more wife, then what are your fears? Can you each one try to list out your fears? What will be the fear?
Insecurity.
No, in what topic? Financial. So where is Rahu and Ketu sitting on what axis?
Wait.
Ketu sitting on Dhan Sthan.
Dhan or wealth? Inheritance and wealth, right? So you inherit, right, from your husband. So the fear of assets. When he takes care of the other person, where is half the wealth going? That was not part of the agreement, right? When you got married, you never said that I'm going to marry one more person. So we have cheating as one thing about Rahu. Then what? Being cheated. So hiding. Matters kept in hiding, not revealed. Then now I'm in a state of fear because Rahu means fear. Rahu is the snake, and snake means fear. The problem about human life is we are not there, so we do not know how they feel. For us, this is just an exercise. In reality, how will it be for that person? So Rahu has been extremely, difficult.
Mars.
Sir, what is the Shadbala for Rahu, sir?
Rahu and Ketu, no
It will
Shadbala.
be weak. No, okay, sir. In the Jagannath Vala, they will give Vimshavaka they will give, sir. Yeah.
Yeah, but in mainstream Brihat Parashar Varshastra, Rahu and Ketu are exempt.
Yeah.
Earlier, like we were discussing, there is third aspect of Saturn is there on 5th house, and also 7th aspect of Jupiter is there, and somehow it is slipped out of our discussion, sir. Which one works more? Which one works greater?
Both worked,
Aspect
right?
percentage we can see, right?
Both worked. The child didn't come easy.
Okay, sir.
But the child came because of Jupiter. So please do not think in trying to answer these questions like which one is more strong and all that. It doesn't mean that the other combination is not working. Every combination will work on its own. Everything will work. But the problem is how do you...
She might have had... She might have had abortion, so that the Saturn third aspects also works there probably.
You joined late.
Yeah,
you joined late. Okay. She had 3 very complicated abortions. And each abortion in such cases is usually death. But she managed. So those who know gynecology can find out what kind of pregnancy that must have been. Okay.
Ectopic.
So that means the Saturn also worked there.
It is ectopic pregnancies. So what happens in ectopic pregnancy? You remove your fallopian tubule.
You got to cut it.
Yeah, the tubes are gone.
And it is very dangerous to the mother, sir.
Very dangerous, correct? So please don't jump to conclusion. If Guru is looking, no problem. If Guru is looking means teacher is available, doctor is available, astrologer is available, God is available, Gurus are available, pujas are available, like that.
So here Mars is also capable of giving the results because Mars is Hasta. So good or bad, Mars might not be giving the result upfront even in his Dasha also. But Rahu, because he is in Mars house, so Rahu will actually amplify the problems rather than Mars. Can we say like that?
No, all the problems of the yogas, like lots of houses in different houses, all of them, this horoscope is severely damaged, especially because Lagna and the moon are in the same place. So it was just waiting for the weakest dasha. The weakest dasha is Rahu. And it is coming right in the middle of the life, right? It is coming right in the middle of the life. So the person is going through all this at the at the most important point in life. So that is a issue. If this dasha comes late in life, then it will only be disease. It won't be this much.
Sir, regarding the placement of planets from the Chandra Lagna, sir, most of the classical books, they give the placement with reference to the actual ascendant, sir. Which book should we refer, sir, for placement from moon, sir?
Placement from moon, which transit of planets or reading a chart?
Reading a chart, sir. Placement.
Reading a chart, once you have ascendant, you should drop moon. You should not go to moon.
Okay.
That is only if you don't have the ascendant, what else to do for a person? At least from the moon can I read the chart. If moon is also not available, at least from the sun can I read the chart, sun sign. So it is only in that order. So, it's like the eagerness to read a chart, eagerness to read. So once you have ascendant, you will no longer go to moon or sun after that. But in this case, because moon is also there, every little thing that you notice about this horoscope will double up because the moon is also a reference point.
Samagama, sir. Lagna Samagama.
Yeah. Okay. So it is like one more, parameter. So this will become one more factor because it's also from the moon. So 2 times it is over and over again, it repeats. So from moon also the 6th lord is the 7th, from ascendant also 6th lord is the 7th, and so on. All the marriage problems surface in the weakest period in the Mangalya Sthana occupied Rahu. So because it got diverted into this area, it did not damage our health, though of course the dangerous pregnancies, which usually is surgical procedures and all that, you have it indicated by Rahu in the 8th house. So uterus is the 8th house. Okay, so it's easy to make these predictions once you stick to the classical books and don't bring in your own theories. I would like to say like this, according to me, those words if you avoid. See, one thing is, if you quote Brihad Parashara Horashastra and say, whenever you are having Rahu and Ketu, this dashas in 8th house, it is very bad. He has given a set of statements. So simply read it out. While reading a chart, you shouldn't become subjective. No. Who said anything? Nothing's going to happen to you. You'll be misguiding people. Then the other most important point is, while looking at Jupiter's aspect, you should say, do all the remedies connected. What remedy would you have given for a person if this person came to you when she was 20-year-old? What remedies would you have given?
Pray to Goddess Durga, sir.
No. First idea is, please be very strict with horoscope matching.
Horoscope matching, yeah. I was
Do not have a love marriage, because you will select the wrong person automatically. Okay? But that is basically centered around this phrase, Buddhihi Karma Anusarini. According to Buddhi, you will select the man. Come. I want to go through my fate. Please come and marry me. Okay? That thought will come. So you tell, please don't do that, because you're having the 5th lord in the 7th afflicted. If 5th lord in the 7th is not afflicted, is beneficially placed, then you should say love marriage only is good for you. Like that. Okay, what will be the remedy?
Helping orphanages, sir.
Orphanage is the topmost remedy for this. Okay, anything else for the 7th house affliction?
Help other people's marriage.
Help other people's marriage. Why would you have all these planets in these houses? You are a soul, you are a being which went after multiple relationships in the past life. Okay, so you are now getting the taste of it. So what should you do before it strikes you? You should say, I am not interested in any adultery. I don't want to go to somebody else's, husband or wife, like what I did in the past life. This time I want to unite people. I want to bring people together and tell them the importance of marriage, one man, one wife concept. I don't want multiple, because Sun, Mars, Venus, all this is multiple relationships in the past life. This life, I'm not going to be like this. I don't want to be punished. So help people get married. Where will you help people? Rich people, you want to help to get them married?
Poor people, sir.
The poorest of poor, where they cannot afford marriage, but they found a match and they're eagerly waiting for funds. So you help marriage process, orphanage process. In terms of if they were a Hindu, what gods would you have recommended for prayer based on this chart's weakest point? Rahu.
Sun, sir.
Rahu. Durga and
Vishnu.
Mahalakshmi. Vishnu comes second, correct. Vishnu comes second because it's 6th lord. So Vishnu Lakshmi combine Tirupati. So Tirupati Balaji will be one form. So you have a lot of, in Tirupati also there is some, something to do with marriage and all that. And many marriages happen. Huh?
Kalyana
Utsavam and those kind of things. So perform that. And then come back outside and perform other people's marriage. And keep doing all this. And then wait for a nice match and try, don't go after, like love or something.
So Rahu also Shiv, right? Shiva, right?
No. Rahu is not Shiva. Rahu's problem can be controlled and contained by Shiva, Lord Shiva. But then in this context, it is Mesha Lagna. So for Mesha Lagna, it's always Durga and not Shiva. The logic is...
The fifth lord Sun, sir, should we do for that something? to strengthen it? Because
fifth Lord Sun, you want to strengthen it, you try ask them to wear a ruby ring on the right hand ring finger. But most probably they won't.
Sir, even if we say the remedy, sir, don't go in for love marriage, will they agree, sir, or will Rahu allow them to agree, sir?
Yeah, that is free will, Uma Devi. That is not an excuse. But at that point, even an astrologer cannot say whether they'll agree or not, because there's a free will choice. It's a choice actually, and choices are always there. Yeah,
they can have, they can hear.
Yeah. Jupiter, if he was more stronger, then there would have been much more better choices than suffering, right?
What did he say?
If Jupiter, as Guru, he was much more stronger, then he could actually speculate the things and change the things.
What is the problem of Jupiter? Jupiter is in Saturn's house.
Oh,
that is a problem with
just
Jupiter.
After debilitation, sir.
That's okay. Rising after debilitation is still weak only. But the most important point, it doesn't work very well in Saturn's house. Okay, but then the aspect, we don't consider that point. We do not consider that point. That is the reason why she ultimately got a child in spite of all this problem.
Yeah.
But then the problem, went into so many months of struggle with the child. Then finally the child survived. And after that, now the child is healthy only.
Sir, in a girl's horoscope, Jupiter, they see no, sir. Here, Jupiter is in the 11th house. So 11th house being the house of desires, probably that person's husband would have gone like that, sir. Something.
No. That we cannot say. I have the husband's chart, but I don't want to disclose it right now. He has a typical combination for all these habits. So therefore it piled up. So the point is, the question, how much fate and how much free will is in our life, it's only choice. But for that, the person should first be aware of astrology. But who's going to be aware of astrology? Okay. Though Harvard University has 65 Indian astrology books in its library, in spite of that, no Indian is going to respect astrology, right? I mean, most of the time they don't respect God also. They will not go to gods. They won't pray. They're atheists, and no belief systems. Very happy-go-lucky people. So those
children are also like that, no, sir. Like 20 children also these days, sir. Like 20-25 years children. They don't. It's very difficult to pull them into this.
It's okay. See, at that point, what do we say? At that point, we say, yeah, that's all. It is already there in the horoscope. They also did the same thing. That's all. Then we'll skip like that. It's only an attempt to change, but whether they're going to listen or not is not in our hands.
Can we also say that Venus is a heavy karmic planet, which like you will have to enjoy the good or bad thing related to previous life. So he being in 7th house, it is.
No, she is not enjoying. Poor thing, she is not enjoying. The man is enjoying.
Good or bad, so she has to face it because of Venus there. Venus is the main troublemaker in this horoscope. Yes.
Whenever you see a chart, please do not ever forget this point. This is always only about past life, what you did in past life. From this, we are projecting the future. You were like this in the past. You understand? So the result is coming from that.
Sir, even the 12th lord of sharing, sir, is in the 11th house, sir. It is not in Kendra.
Yeah, not in Kendra.
It is not in Kendra.
Yeah, not in Kendra. Okay. But Upapada Lagna doesn't have a malefic, or the second from Upapada has only a benefic. So the marriage is survived in spite of all the odds. Okay.
So both the trinal lords, Guruji, Jupiter and Sun,
what is the use?
They're affected, right? Like they're not that strong. So
Soumya has something to say. Dr. Soumya has something to say.
What is the use? Like suffering all the time after surviving the marriage. That's what I was thinking.
No,
Jupiter.
That is one thing. Soumya, for that I have an explanation. If you have to suffer, it will keep you in the marriage. It won't allow you to escape. It won't allow you to escape. It's very common. First, you have to be alive, you have to be there in the marriage. Otherwise, you do not suffer with it, right? You find your own next husband and move on with life.
after some years, they will find things and then move on. By that time, the Jupiter.
By the time,
will
no,
have become stronger.
now age is also catching up. She cannot find a new person now. It's all
Sir,
too.
one last doubt, sir. Sir, suppose we.
Please say last doubt. Is that the end of our session?
Oh, sorry, sir.
Yeah. No, anyway, I'm planning to end at 10:30 exactly.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, for a near and dear one, suppose we check the horoscope and we tell them some remedies and they do not listen. But we are, suppose we do on their behalf, at least little it will work for them, sir.
How will it work? It is like saying, if I eat for other person, will he get energy? But when parents do some remedies in temples with the Sankalpam idea, it will work to some extent.
Okay, sir.
Because after all,
you were mentioning,
as parents.
sir, you were mentioning for Mesha Lagna, why goddess?
Yeah, you didn't complete that,
Lord
sir.
Shiva.
Rahu, yeah, you didn't complete that.
I mean, I was not allowed to complete.
Sorry.
Yeah, someone interjected.
Yeah.
So why specific to that? Why specific to that ascendant?
For that ascendant, who are the main enemies? Venus. So when Venus becomes the Maraka, Venus becomes the enemy for any ascendant. It is always goddess for Rahu. And if Sun is enemy, if Jupiter is enemy, if Mars is enemy, then it becomes Lord Shiva becomes the controller of Rahu. Okay. And the gem therapy, if they find it very expensive, or maybe they will never wear it, even if they wear, they will try to, it will happen that they will lose it. In that case, you tell them, okay, forget the gem, but wear the colors of that gem. And do never wear black at all. And they will exactly tell you, I'm only wearing black all the time. Even during consultation, they'll be wearing black.
Exactly, sir.
Okay. So all this is based upon Buddhi Karma Anusarani. But then you need a teacher, a guru, to tell you, please don't do that. But most of the time, people won't listen. Now, that is not in our hands. When the teacher is teaching in the class, not everybody gets the same marks, right? And for that, what then the teacher do? And teacher cannot say, anyway, they're not going to listen to me, therefore I won't teach also. Even that you cannot say. You have to teach. So your duty is to keep telling the remedies, whether they follow it or not. At least you've been doing, you're doing justice to astrology and giving hope to people that you can change your future based upon remedies and confession and doing these, prayers and appropriate, remedies. That is the positive way of using astrology. Otherwise, you say, no, everything is prefixed, and then accept it as it is and basically unwilling to change the future. For people like that, I always recommend they never get into astrology. That is better for them. Because it only, they will half hear it and they will only remember the bad news, but they will not work upon it. And they'll always complain about whatever. And they'll go on telling, why is this Rahu in my 8th house? What have I done? It is doing a lot of things to me. But Rahu in the 12th is a separate thing, a very big problem with Rahu in the 12th. That we'll do some other
Maybe next session, sir.
Not immediately next, because too many Rahus we shouldn't do. Today, I don't know, because it was Saturday and 26th, I picked up this.
Guruji, so for Tula Lagna, Rahu is the co-lord for the 5th house. So can that person wear that Gometam?
Only if the planet is in Kendra or Trikona, aspected by an opposite graha. That is, if it is in Trikona, it should be aspected by a Kendra Adhipati. If it is in Kendra, it should be aspected by a Trikona Adhipati. And you should be very careful about this rule that when you're saying aspect and other things, it should be more than 75 marks. And it should be well placed in the angles of the trines. If it is placed anywhere else, no Gome.
Right.
Yeah.
Irrespective of a positive aspect or negative aspect, sir.
No. Only if it is trine and Trikona connection. Trikona and Kendra connection.
Somebody has said that
what you meant was if it is a malefic trigon.
So, guys, Guruji, somebody said that if they wear rings on the left hand, then it's not very active.
Who is that somebody reference, please?
I don't know. I'm asking Guruji. He's saying that to me.
Now Dr. Soumya is becoming like me. She's saying, don't talk unnecessary things except if you quote properly, then we'll listen.
No, this guy believes that he's wearing Gomit and he has Rahu in the 11th, Saturn in the 11th, Tula Lagna, and it's 1 degree difference between Rahu and Saturn. And Saturn is the Yoga Karaka. Yoga Karaka, Shadbala is also weak and he's not able to get married, and Rahu is the Dara Karaka for him. So this is the situation, and he's close to 40. And he's keep on wearing this Gometam ring on his left hand. He's telling me because I'm wearing it, when I remove it, I get stressed.
Is his 12th Lord in Dushtana?
Mercury in 10th.
Oh, 12th Lord is in 10th, is it? Okay.
Yeah, but with the 3rd and the 6th Lord, Jupiter. Another planetary war.
Okay. Anyway, we'll discuss it in some other session.
Sir,
Okay.
regarding this horoscope, sir, I have one doubt, sir. The horoscope that we discussed. The moon is here, Paurnima, sir. That means it is strengthy, sir. Even though the moon is strengthy, because of getting aspects from so many malefics from the 7th house, can we think that the person mind is stable or not? I mean, just I have a doubt, sir. Can we confirm that mind stable or not stable or I don't know.
With such a husband, not divorcing itself shows mental stability, right?
Ah, okay, sir. So,
She may go through
moon strength is
stress, right?
Yeah, but she's not mentally unfit. She's strong.
She's strong.
Moon in ascendant itself is like stronger mentality, sir.
4th Lord in the 1st, and it is a full moon Jupiter. I mean, full moon, right? So it's great. Okay, so we will call it the end of our session now.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, do we have anybody to say any Shanti mantra or?
Tell Guruji.
Yes, please.
Om Samastaloka Sukino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you, sir.
Let's all live peacefully by the grace of God.
Thank you.
And healthy.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
So countdown.
3, 2, 1, 0.